Hello dear ones, very happy to meet you in this lesson 7 part 4 of English Mastery, Easy Way to Spoken and Written English. Last week we saw noun, proper and common noun. Have you revised it? If you have revised it, then there is a quick test for you that I would like to give you. Here are a few sentences, okay? My favorite subject is English. The kids' favorite toy is Barbie. My favorite movie is Passion of Christ by Mel Gibson. I was gifted Cadbury Silk chocolate on my birthday. Okay, I've given you a few sentences. Now I want you to identify the proper noun and common noun in all these sentences. Okay, you can pause the video, you can do the activity, and then you can restart the video. Are you ready? Yes. Now if you pause the video and restarted it, these are the answers. Okay, so when it comes to English is a specific subject like history, geography, science. So English is a proper noun. Okay, Barbie. So what is the proper noun for common noun for English? Subjects is the common noun. When you study something, always relate it to the opposite word or contrary word or a synonym and learn it. It registers better. So learn it like this. English is a proper noun. Subject is a common noun. Barbie is a proper noun and toy is a common noun. Passion of Christ, which talks about the life, suffering and death of Jesus, is a proper noun, and movie is a common noun. Mel Gibson is the director. Mel Gibson is a proper noun. Okay, I have not written there, but director is the common noun. Cadbury Silk is the proper noun. Okay, and chocolate is the common noun. So I think if you've got all right in that, then you have understood proper and common noun, and you are qualified to move on to our next topic, which is abstract and concrete noun. So we're talking about abstract and concrete. Again, I've kept it in contrast and I've taken it up. We don't have much to, I don't have much to tell you on the concrete noun, though I will take it up again in detail. Looking at the term abstract and concrete itself, we can say the general meaning. When somebody tells you something and you say, it's very abstract, I really don't understand. Okay, give me some concrete examples, which means what they say is not comprehensible to the five senses. When you don't understand something tangibly, okay, you say it's very abstract. Okay, you look at a painting and you say it's an abstract painting, which means it is not easily understandable. When you say it's a concrete painting, then you are able to understand it. Okay, so that is the basic term I want you to understand. You can start using it in your vocabulary also. Abstract means you don't understand it through your five senses. Okay, you can't see, touch, and all that. Okay, for example, if I tell you sofa, showcase, photo frame, you are able to immediately, you will not tell me what is a photo frame, what is a sofa, what is a washing machine, what is a fridge. I don't understand. You will not say that. It is concrete. Okay, but when I tell you about few feelings, few ideas, few concepts, immediately I can't show you. You can't touch it. Okay, so that is the abstract and concrete. Understand the terms first and then let's come to grammar. So when it comes to abstract and concrete noun, okay, one more example for the terms and their meanings is that you have all these companies, right? They are given a name, like all of us are given a name, and if we ask our parents why we are given that name, they would tell us they named us so because of that reason. So companies are also named like that. They are named for a reason. If you look at this Cognizant company, it is named to mean awareness, creating awareness. Reliance tells you they are very reliable. Okay, they can serve you. Then Oracle tells you they are the best source for consultation. So please understand, the words around you. Even if you go sit at a restaurant or you go to any places, please look around to observe and see if there are any English sentences that you can read. Please ask yourself if you are able to understand that. Look at the names of restaurants, hotels, look at the names of shops that are in English, and you will be able to learn English in a very, very interesting way. Okay. Now, as I always tell you, my base sentence will be those 8 sentences that I already gave you. God loves us. So, in which God is the noun and it is number 1. People, I always call my grammar classes 1, 2, 3 grammar. Okay. Because first I want you to understand grammar is easy. It's interesting, like 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, 1 is always the noun or a pronoun. Okay. And 2 is the verb. And 3 is a noun or a pronoun. So, 1 is equal to 3. Okay, so 1 and 3 are always noun and pronoun, and 2 is the verb. Okay, now the base sentence is God loves you. Now, I am going to rewrite this sentence like this. Love sacrifices everything. You see that? Love is a verb. He loves me or God loves us. Love is a verb. Now, I have used love at the noun position and I have made it the opening of the sentence. Okay. So, how is that possible? How did verb become noun? That's very interesting. I'll answer. Let me take my own example. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a daughter. I am a sister. I am a faculty. I am a professor. I am a student. I am a student. So I play so many roles. You can't say, ma'am, how can you play so many roles? You are one person. The same logic operates with you also. You are a son, you are a brother, you are a father, you are a student, you are a friend. You play so many roles. That is the logic behind, or concept behind every word also. The same word, okay, can be a noun, can be a verb, can be an adverb, can be an adjective, depending on its relation to a sentence. So, noun here in this sentence, in relation to that sentence, it comes in the verb place. So, love is a verb. Now, in the sentence, it comes in the noun place. Okay, and please understand, every sentence starts with a noun. Okay, so again I repeat, 1, 2, 3, 1 is always noun and 3 is always noun or pronoun. Okay, that is the basic structure. Then we'll see, you can even have it without noun, but as of now I'm introducing you to the first basic structure. In a sentence, you call it S plus V plus O. Okay, so first basic sentence construction. So, at the beginning of every sentence, you have a noun or a pronoun. Keep that very clearly in mind and remember it as number 1. And remember verb, action as number 2. You mention a noun and then you say what it does. Okay, she teaches. Okay, Teresa teaches. They listen, students listen. So, you mention the noun and then you say what the noun does. Okay, so very simple. So here, moving on to love sacrifices everything. Okay, love is the noun there and it is the abstract noun. You ask me to show love, you want to touch it and see, you want to see it as a tangible thing, I will not be able to show you. It is an abstract concept. And this is again a beautiful sentence, love sacrifices everything. Okay, so Bible teaches us, and I was so inspired to know that God became man to make man to become like God. So He gave His life for the sins of people. So it almost everything is sacrificed when you're ready to give your life. Are you ready to give your life for your friends? Even giving a few things sometimes becomes so difficult. So every sentence has an underlying meaning, and please understand and learn that as well. So love is the abstract noun and love sacrifices everything. And here love is the name. Now noun is name, correct? Here love is the name not of a person, place or thing. Okay, it is name of a feeling. That is called an abstract noun. So the first thing under abstract noun, it comes as a name of a feeling. So not only love is a feeling, even hatred is a feeling. Okay, in the Tamil recording I had written hate. Okay, if you look at it as hate and you don't get confused, hate, it's a verb. Change the form hatred, it becomes noun. So love is a feeling, it's an abstract noun. So hatred is sin. I'm starting my sentence, hatred is a sin. Hatred is an abstract noun. Anger, anger is self-destructive. Because anybody who gets angry first, they destroy themselves before they destroy others. Okay, so anger is an abstract noun. Pride goes before a fall. You think too much of yourself, okay, too much of the blessings that God has given you or something like that. So pride, okay, goes before a fall. Pride is an abstract noun. Sympathy is a wonderful feeling, okay. Sympathy is a compassionate feeling, so sympathy is an abstract noun. Happiness is the goal of our life, okay. So whatever you do, you have to be happy. Not doing the wrong thing, ultimately you will not be happy. Do the right thing and be happy. So these are classifications of abstract noun under feeling. So first it talks about feeling. Get it very clearly in your mind. So next we move on to names of ideas. Okay, names of ideas. Belief, dream, knowledge, imagination, these are all ideas. And I would like to connect it with the life of the great Abdul Kalam. Abdul Kalam had a belief that in 2020, India will be a superpower. So belief is an abstract noun. Then you have dream. He has given us a beautiful quote. Okay, dream is not something that comes when you sleep, but dream is something that will never let you sleep, he says. So dream is an abstract noun. Knowledge is power. Till his last breath, he kept transferring his knowledge to the student community. Next you have imagination, a man of great imagination and a great professional who's an exemplary person for all of us. So imagination is again an abstract noun. Okay. Third category, it names qualities, the qualities that we have. Determination is a quality. Hope is a quality. Integrity is a quality. And I would like to connect it to Mahatma Gandhi. What a great determination, that he will get victory, and he did. And what a great hope and a symbol, an icon of positivity. So he was able to achieve what he dreamt of. And finally, a man of integrity. After watching Harichandra drama, he decided never to say lies. Okay, so I'm connecting it all to Mahatma Gandhi. So abstract noun, as we understand by the end of the session, is abstract noun still abstract or has it become concrete? I hope it has become concrete. Keep working at it, do your vision part of it, and come back next week. Never, never, never give up.